Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I'm Lenny and I have 6 Dachshunds, 5 long hair and 1 smooth. If you can hear banging throughout this video, my neighbours have been doing construction for days and I was waiting for them to be quiet, but clearly they're not going to be quiet today either. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video as, but basically what I'm going to be talking about today are 2 commands that you can teach your dog, especially if you have a reactive Dachshund, so that you can get to a point where you can take them to a pub, take them to a cafe, and they won't react to every single dog or every single person that passes them or enters the pub. If you've got a reactive Dachshund, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you haven't got a reactive Dachshund, it's good for them to know these commands anyway for the future, because you never know what will happen. During lockdown, a lot of Dachshunds have gone from being social or have gone from being little puppies to being less social adult dogs. With that can come reactivity and anxiousness around new people and new dogs. So I have been finding that a lot of people have been asking me the same question, which is, how do I stop my dog from barking or reacting to dogs and people? So I'm going to do a video on barking specifically, but this video is just 2 simple commands that you can teach your dog to make going to places like the pub or the cafe or sitting in a beer garden a little bit easier for both you and the dog. So things that you're going to need for this video is either a blanket or a bit of vet bed or a mat that you can easily carry around in your rucksack or your handbag that you're happy to have with you at all times when you're with the dog, so that you can get it out at the pub, cafe, wherever you're expecting them to sit down and not react. The other thing that you're going to need to work on these commands is treats, but they're going to need to be very high value, and you're also going to need a treat that's long lasting. I just want to say before I start explaining the commands and how to teach them, that if you have got a puppy that has just turned 7, 8 months or 12 months to 18 months, they do go through several fear stages, which I'll pop a link below on a little bit more information on this. So you might find that they were social last week and this week they've started reacting. This command is going to work really well for you, because I'm going to be telling you throughout this training that you should be keeping a distance from dogs and people, because you can't train a dog when they're already over the threshold. So they're already barking, going crazy. It's really hard to pull them back and rein them back if they've already gone over the threshold. So all of this training is going to be talking about doing it in safe places where they can't get over that threshold before you actually take them to the pub or the cafe. But I'll get onto that as I'm taking you through it. I'm going to be using Nemo for this video because we are still working on these commands with him, and he is a lockdown puppy, so that means that he is fear reactive to new people and new dogs because he wasn't socialised during those prime times in their life. So I'm going to be using him as an example, because then you're getting a real representation of how the training can go, the difficulties, the positives, etc. So let's move on to the training. So the 2 commands that I'm going to be talking about in this video are settle and watch. In order to do these commands, you do really need to be able to ask your dog to sit and lie down if possible, but sit is good enough. So the first command we're going to talk about is the settle command. So the settle command is exactly what's written on the tin. It's asking the dog to settle. This command is really useful for things like when you have visitors over the house, but more so what we're talking about in this video, going to a cafe or a pub and just wanting them to lie down by your feet and settle. All of this training we're going to do at home first, because when they're at home, they're the least likely to go over their threshold or be interrupted in their training. So they're going to learn the best at home. So we're going to start this at home, and I'm going to need you to go and grab that vet bed or blanket or bed that you can squeeze into your handbag or your rucksack that I talked about earlier. So for us, we use vet bed. So we've got these small squares, they can fold up and pop it in your rucksack. Right, so for this part of the training, I'm pretending that I'm at the pub, and I am sat at my pub chair, and I've put the mat down next to me, and I am encouraging Nemo to settle in one position. When you're doing this training, you should really have them on a lead and collar, but I don't have him on one because I don't want to set the dogs off thinking they're going for a walk, but he should be on one. So I want to do this when he's not paying attention to me. So look, he looked away, so I'm going to drop the treat on the floor. So I don't want him thinking that these treats are coming from me because he's paying me attention, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a dog that just begs me the whole time that I'm at the cafe. So when he looks down, he gets another treat chucked down. So he is learning settle, and I'm not giving him a command really. When I put him on the mat, I asked him to settle. There you go, he's looked away, so he's going to get some treats. And I'm just chucking those down while he's just happy mooching around himself. So he's mooching around and he is learning settle. He's learning to sit down, not pay any attention to me, and I am just chucking treats down and happy for him to settle. This is how you teach settle. So you do not teach settle by going settle, asking him to settle and then giving him a treat, because then he'll just be learning to give you attention. But sometimes you do need them to give you attention. So for example, if someone has come into the pub and you know that they're especially reactive to, say, border collies or Labradors, and you see one coming, then you're going to want to get his attention to distract him from whatever it is that's coming. So now I'm going to teach him watch. So watch is the other command. Watch is the second command that I'm teaching you, and that is to gain their attention, to distract them from the thing that they're going to react to. So I'm going to now reward him for watching. So this is a different reward. So he's already trying to watch me, so I'm just going to put him back in his place, and I'm going to say Nemo watch, and I'm going to reward him for that, because he made eye contact with me and he paid attention to me. So the dogs are running around outside and he's looking at them. I'm going to say watch, and he gets a reward. So actually it's quite good in my house because he's got a few distractions. So he's looking at the dogs, watch, and he watches and he gets a reward. So we've got the two commands there. We've got settle and then we've got watch, which is where I'm wanting him to actually pay me attention. Here you go. So you want them to be really good at these two commands and to only do it on this one mat or blanket or bed. You always want to familiarise that as their settle location. So they need to be good at both commands. Once they're really comfortable at home in the house with those commands, you're then going to try taking them out to the garden. The garden, you might say, well, it's still on at home, so what's the issue there? Well, there's different noises outside and you might get people passing your garden, so there's further distractions. So we're going to take it out to the garden. So now we're out in the garden. I've asked him to watch, you can see here, and then I reward him. And now I'm doing the settle command, so I'm mixing it up between the watch and the settle command. So exactly the same again, but I've just moved it out into the garden so that there's a few more noises and a few more distractions. We've actually got the construction I was talking about earlier going on outside, so that's a really good distraction. And also because the rest of the dogs are inside and he's outside, he's also listening out for them. So he is looking around a bit. And once I'm happy that he fully understands the commands, I'm then going to try a quiet area outside the garden. So me and Nemo are just heading out to our practice spot now. I'm on my phone now because I don't want to carry a massive camera around. So we're just heading over to our practice spot. So this is our practice spot. Nemo is on his settle mat. There will be people passing here, but we can keep a very far distance. And there are cars passing, dogs passing, so plenty of distractions, but a good distance from all of them. So I put a couple of treats on his mat and he's just eating them now. And that's what's brought him over to the mat. And then when he's not looking, I'm going to drop some more. And he's going to eat them. So he's not looking, so he gets some more. Oh. Nemo, watch. Good boy. So then we're going to mix it up and put a couple of watches in there as well. Nemo, watch. Good boy. So I've got the capabilities here to distract him from something if I feel it is a tough trigger. He's very relaxed now, so I'm going to keep chucking some down. But I'm also encouraging him to just want to lie down and chill out. So we have a dog passing now. Nemo has spotted it and has barked once, so I'm just going to show you what I've done. I have put some treats down which he then ignored, so I then brought the value of the treat up and he was then happily distracted. So I asked him to watch, got this one out, which is a little bit more of a higher value treat, and we've gone up a level. So this is an extra tip. Sometimes what will be high value at home is not high enough value out and about. So at home we were using these little treats. Well, they weren't high enough value for a border collie. So we always have something even higher value out with us. And this is venison.
The good thing about this treat is that it is long and I can just hold it down for him and distract him if I really think it's something that's gonna get his attention. And then I can take it away when I'm ready and there's nothing around again. So they've really got the commands now. You've done it at home, you've done it in the garden, you've done it in various safe places outside, and now you're ready to move it to the pub or the cafe. Here's a few extra tips. Pick a quiet area first, preferably in a corner where no one can come up behind you. Bring a long-lasting treat so that the dog can distract themselves, they can be chilling out on their own and you can enjoy a drink. But always be ready to use the watch command. The watch command will come in useful if something does come in to distract them that you weren't ready for. So at this point in the video, you should know what the settle and watch command are, and you should have everything you need to get started on that command, first starting at home for a few weeks until they really know what those commands are, then moving into your garden, then moving to a quiet location, hopefully where people are walking on lead with their dogs, and then trying it at the pub or the cafe. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about separation anxiety because I've had a lot of questions on that. And I will also do a video on barking specifically in various areas of their life. So please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And as I always say, it is Dachshund, not Dachshund, not Dachshund, Dachshund. Cheers, guys.